Thank you, sir, for making it to Ideas of India. चलिए दोस्तों, अब आगे बढ़ते हैं. गोवा से बाहर निकल के हम सीधा स्पेस की तरफ जा रहे हैं. हम चंद्रयान, हम गंगायान की जब बातें करते हैं, there are many more ground-breaking space missions now from India, which tell us that India is no longer just a participant in space exploration, it is emerging as a leader. Increasingly, we find scope for collaboration and collective championing of space discovery. Today, we are so proud to have with us Dr. Goutam Chattopadhyay, Senior Scientist at NASA JPL and visiting professor at Caltech. He's a visionary shaping the future of space technology. A very, very warm welcome to Dr. Chattopadhyay. Sir, kindly join us on the stage. और ये एक बहुत ही proud moment है हमारे लिए because he was born and raised in West Bengal. He's emerged as a significant force at NASA, where he also won the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory 2023 People Leadership Award. And also joining him today for the conversation is Chetan Bhagat. Chetan के लिए तालियां हो जाएं please. And we will begin this session with our honorable guest first making a presentation.
All right. Can I have the slides, please? Okay, so I thought that I'll start with a few slides and tell you what we do at NASA. So I'll start with telling you a little bit about NASA and JPL. NASA has different laboratories all across the United States. And JPL is the West Coast. And JPL, NASA actually started from JPL. And we do the robotic missions. That is the largest NASA lab is Jet Propulsion Laboratory. So we have been very busy recently. You can see if you look at all these missions that we have been doing currently, and also that has been already launched over the years. So what we do, we dare mighty things. We are trying to study our home planet from space. About climate change is a very big issue for all of us. We are trying to understand about life from, is there life beyond our planet Earth? We are trying to understand how everything began. We are creating robots where human cannot go. Also, we are trying to explore our own solar system, how stars and galaxies are formed. So if you look at Voyager, Voyager was launched in 1977, and Voyager 1 is the man-made object which has gone farthest in this universe. Is about 24 light hours. Not light years, light hours, which means about 45 billion kilometers away. If I tell you the distance between the sun and the earth is about 150 million kilometers, that will give you an idea how far that man-made object has gone and is still communicating with us. Of course, it is not able to send video from there, but it's telling that, yes, I'm still here, I'm alive, and sending some information to us. So this is the technologies that we develop that shows endurance of those technologies. So it does not just last 1 year or 10 years. It has to last for a long time. That shows that Voyager, we have been doing that. So I will start with the Big Bang Theory. This is not the Big Bang Theory you watch on TV. This is the real Big Bang Theory because we believe that our universe started with the Big Bang. Interesting thing is that the first light of the universe came out about 380,000 years after Big Bang. There is no light before that. And it was discovered by two scientists, Arno Penzias and Bob Wilson from AT&T Bell Labs. They are doing some communication experiments, and then they detected the first light of the universe. And I'll show this picture with Bob Wilson. Earlier, late last year, 2024, I got an award from Radio Club of America's Armstrong Medal. And Armstrong is not Neil Armstrong. His name is actually Edward Armstrong. He is the one who discovered and invented the techniques of AM and FM. All of you hear about AM, FM radios. He's the one who actually invented that technology. And I got that award from Bob Wilson himself. And I heard from him how he discovered detected the first light of the universe. So that was very enriching experience for me to understand what people do, how scientists think. This is the picture that was taken by Voyager about the blue dot in the sky. That was 1990, the first time we were able to picture our planet Earth from outer space. And then, if you look at the next one, this picture was taken by Mars rover Curiosity from the surface of the Mars. So this was the first time we actually pictured our own planet from the surface of another planet. If you actually expand that, you will be able to see our planet Earth here and our moon as well. So sometimes we think that we are very big, we know everything. I always show this picture to our students that in big scheme of things, we are just a dot in the sky. So if that feeling of the ego comes over, we should remember this picture. That will hopefully ground us. So we are doing, again, we are trying to understand in NASA what we do is that we actually are trying to answer big science questions. What we do that, okay, what is the big science questions today? Are you alone in this universe? Is there life somewhere else? And to do the answer that science question, what kind of experiments we need to do? And to do that experiment, what kind of instruments we need to build? To build that instrument, what are the technology gaps out there? And that's where we start. As a technologist, that's where we start building that instrument, bridging that gap. And I will tell you one thing, that whenever I go somewhere, people ask me, so what do I think? Is there life outside of planet Earth? Whatever you read on internet or whatever you see on YouTube about aliens, don't believe, because we have not found life outside our planet Earth, not even a single cell outside our planet Earth. So if your friends tell you that they have seen aliens, please ask them to talk to us so that we'll stop spending billions of dollars. So we have found, but the question is there possibility of life outside our planet Earth? I'll give you, you can do a thought experiment. If you look in the sky, you see the millions of stars out there. In our own galaxy, Milky Way galaxy, we have about 400 billion stars. And we have about 100 billion galaxies in our universe. So you can do your math, and so how many stars are out there. And we are finding that majority of these stars, they have planets around them. And not only one planet, multiple planets around them. So what is the probability that we found one such planet where conditions are such that life can exist? That has to be non-zero probability, and that's what we are trying to find out. And we already found quite a few planets which are in that habitable zone where life can exist. When you're looking for life, what kind of life we are looking for? Kind of life that we understand, our kind of life, hydrocarbon-based life. You might say that we might find other kind of life. Highly possible. How do you search for it? Rabindranath Tagore has a beautiful song, and in that one of the lines in the song, I'll say in Bengali, I'm from Bengal, I'm very proud Bengali. It says, Janar majhe ojanare korechi sandhan. It translates to, we search for the unknown with the knowledge of the known. Because we understand our kind of life, that's what we can search for. So we might stumble upon other kind of life, but we cannot actively search for it. And can life exist somewhere else, our own planetary system? Yes, what you are looking at, this is Enceladus. Enceladus is a moon of Saturn, and what you are seeing here is water gushing out. And we don't know what is there. If water is gushing out, it has to have water, it has to have a source of energy. What else is coming out? We don't know. NASA is planning a mission to go to Enceladus, and we are building some instrument to find out what is in there. Another planetary body is Europa. Europa is a very cool planetary body. It's very cold. It is a moon of Jupiter. It has a liquid water ocean under thick ice shell. Is there life in that water ocean? We don't know. We just launched a mission to Europa to understand that, to find out that. And Mars, you all know that we keep going back to Mars because Mars is our closest neighbor. And in its early history, Mars was very much like our own planet. Is there life on Mars? Was there Mars ever habitable? We don't know. We are trying to understand that. And over the years, we have actually sent a lot of rovers. You can see that we sent Pathfinder in 1996, Spirit and Opportunity, and Curiosity, and the latest one is Perseverance rover, and doing a lot of experiments. In 2020, we sent that one. If I show you these pictures, some of these pictures you might say, oh, this is one of the roads in monsoon in Calcutta. But that is not true. It's actually all from Mars. It looks so much like our own planet. An interesting thing is we get this kind of terrain only when there is flowing water. If you go to Mars today, we don't find flowing water. The question is, what happened? Where did the water go? Can it happen to our own planet? And what can we do to prevent that? So these are big science questions for all of us, for humanity. That's what we are trying to answer through experiments, through building instruments. And I'll end with another thing that we did on Mars is a helicopter. We flew a helicopter on Mars recently. It's called Perseverance, as an Ingenuity helicopter. And you might ask, what is the big deal about flying a helicopter on Mars? We fly helicopter here all the time. The big deal is the atmosphere density of Mars is 1% of planet Earth. So when a helicopter flies here, the blade rotates at about 400 RPM, revolution per minute. Because atmosphere is so light, same helicopter has to rotate at 3000 RPM to fly there. So that's why we could not fly anything out there. But we said, why don't we try? So we built an instrument, and here you go. We actually mounted that under the belly of the rover, and then we dropped the cover shell, and we dropped our helicopter on the ground. And you can see here, this is the Mars helicopter standing, and this is the track marks of the rover that went away, that moved away. And then the first flight happened in April 2021. It was about 3 a.m. in Pasadena time where I live, and we are really excited to see that, can it really fly? Can we really fly something on another planet? And we did. So I'll show you a short video. This is the helicopter that you can see. This is the first flight of the helicopter. This is Mars. The video was taken by the Perseverance rover, and it took off and went about 10 feet above the ground and made a 94 degrees rotation, and then it actually came down afterwards. So when we built this helicopter, we thought we'll demonstrate that the technology works. So it was planned to fly for 3 to 4 times, but this little thing, kept on flying. And we tried to break it. We tried to go as far as possible, as high as possible, as fast as possible, but it kept on going. And then the lifespan of this helicopter was only 3 flights. After 72 flights, earlier this year, in 2024, when he tried to land, he actually clipped his wing on a big stone that was there, and it died. But what I'm trying to tell you here, that when we are trying to build something, we are trying to build it to last, so that it can do more experiments. It can send us the data back. So for NASA, when we do things, we do it so that we can learn more about us, where we live, about our universe, and how things work. With that, I'll end. I'll be more than happy to talk to Chetan now. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I had Google DeepMind in the morning, NASA. I think today is my day to feel inadequate completely. So I'm very nervous.
No, thank you.
But I have to therefore ask a very silly question, but it's true. Because when I was working in a bank, and if we had some spreadsheet to make, some balance sheet or whatever, my boss would say, why are you getting stuck? It's not rocket science. What do they say in NASA office? Because it is rocket science.
Yes, very good question. Actually, my daughter, she bought a T-shirt for me. On that, it's written on the back, actually, I am a rocket scientist.
Yeah.
And I actually don't wear that.
You should. I mean, Is it hard? Rocket science is really hard, or?
I don't think rocket science is hard. I think all of us are scientists because as a scientist, what we try to do, we are trying to find out how things work. When I also cook in my kitchen, so when I cook, sometimes something does not turn out good, then I try to figure out, what I need to do to make it work better, right? So at that time, I'm a culinary scientist.
Yeah.
So right now, you are a journalistic scientist. So you know how to ask questions.
Oh, that's nice. But these pictures you showed, are you sure they are from Mars and not from Bandra roads? Because I
They
can
are
show you
from,
something very similar.
I know. That's
You
what
didn't have to go so far.
That's what I wanted to tell you, that it is so similar
Yeah.
to our own planet in many ways.
Yeah.
So that's why we are trying to find out, is there life out there?
Yeah. But I don't know if there's a Mars Municipal Corporation. But anyway, so one of the things we were discussing is astronomy is something, I remember growing up, it used to be big, and now children are watching video games, and even grown-ups are not, people feel like it's for NASA, it's for ISRO. But actually, astronomy as a hobby, to whoever is watching this here on TV or on internet, it can be for anyone. Like even something like a $50 or $100, so 5,000 rupee telescope, 10,000 rupees telescope, you could do a lot, right?
That is very true. As a matter of fact, amateur astronomy is a big thing all across the globe. Radio astronomy as well as optical astronomy. So you can buy, as you mentioned, you can buy a very good quality telescope with about $100. And then it can track. It
Sir,
can
close to the, just keep your mic.
Oh yeah, so you can track the stars that is moving around, that's what you want to watch. So it does not cost a lot of money, but you can learn so much, you can see so much. You can see the rings of the Saturn with a very cheap telescope. So that children should actually use those so that they can understand their place in this universe.
Yeah, Jupiter's moons,
Yes?
you can see from like a $100 telescope,
Yes, you can.
and you can order these on Amazon or whatever.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so, but there's something called light pollution. Can you talk about that? And if people want to see it, how can they go about it?
Yes, if you are in Mumbai, not only light pollution, about all kinds of pollution. As a result, even it's sometimes difficult to see the moon, right?
It's sometimes difficult to see across the ceiling, but that's
Yes.
a separate story.
So you'll have to first go to a place where there is not much of light pollution, and then you can really see, your eyes open up when you look in the sky and you see the Milky Way galaxy, and you see the billions of stars in the Milky Way galaxy. You can see that. Just get out of these big towns, go to a very dark place, and you look up. You don't need a telescope to see the Milky Way galaxy. That really tells you something, that how insignificant sometimes we are compared to the entire universe.
Yeah, and those Twitter fights don't seem worth it then.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good way. You've spent a fair amount of time on this question of, is there anyone else? In the sense, is there life outside of Earth? Also I think human beings are fascinated by this. There's so
That's
many
right.
alien movies
Mhm.
and like UFOs. It's just one of those things. And like you just said, well, there's billions of stars and therefore like tens of billions of planets.
Mhm.
So it's likely it's there somewhere.
That's right.
But as of now, we don't
No,
know
we have not
either,
found
because
anything.
we've sent communication.
Yeah.
So either it's not there or they're just really rude people that they don't reply back.
I won't say they're rude people. You have to think that where life might exist. Suppose there is life in a planet which is billions and billions of kilometers away. At the speed of light itself, it will take huge amount of time for it to reach here. So when there is a program called SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligent Life, there we are sending some coded data and trying to see that if anyone responds. But for that, it has to be an intelligent life, right? But we don't even know what kind of life out there. Is there a single cell life? That is also interesting, but is there other kind of life? So it is a big mystery, and that's what we are trying to solve. And that's what human being, we are fascinated about.
Yeah. Sometimes my friends also don't respond to me. So maybe they will take their time and they will. But you believe fundamentally that there is?
I believe that if you look at the math, that there are, how many trillions of planets out there, and I don't think that we are that unique. that our conditions are such that only life could evolve here on our planet Earth. Whatever you might think, but I don't think we are that unique. And there has to be a planet where conditions are very similar, where the life could exist.
And you spoke of Mars, and Elon Musk, who's quite a prominent figure now in this world, one of his ventures, and in fact, he says sometimes that all this money I'm making is for one thing. My biggest goal is to go conquer Mars or inhabit Mars. Is it technically possible? I mean, we can inhabit Sahara Desert. If you really, I'm assuming that's simpler than going and...
Yes. So first of all, I'll say that the best place to live in this universe is our own planet Earth.
Okay.
Why should I go and live on Mars, where it's kind of, as I said, the density of atmosphere is 1%. You'll have to wear a spacesuit. If the density is 1%, which means all these bad radiations coming in, you won't survive without a spacesuit. You need oxygen. There is not enough oxygen. So it is not a very nice place to live there, to be honest. But human beings are explorers. So we want to go there. We want to find out what is out there. So it will be exciting to go there, to Mars, but not to live there permanently.
But you think there can be a manned mission to Mars?
Yes, it is very much possible. What we need, because we can send you to Mars if you want to go, but it is only a one-way ticket.
Oh.
So we cannot bring you back safely. It is not that we cannot bring you back, but we cannot guarantee your safety. And we cannot take that risk, because in NASA parlance, failure is not an option. So if we cannot guarantee that we cannot bring you back, we are not going to take that risk. So, but if we do little bit more research, invest a little bit more money, I think it is going to happen one day.
Okay. Speaking of people stuck, there's some astronauts stuck in space right now.
Yes.
They come on the news. For the layperson, firstly, how did they get stuck? And what would it take to bring them back? Is it even going to be possible? What are the challenges? And
Yes.
Now I think there's a mission planned to do that.
That's correct.
Nobody knows, but what is your probability that they will...
So one thing just I want to tell upfront, that there is no conspiracy theory here. I know a lot of people, my friends, they send me WhatsApp message, is there conspiracy that you are not bringing Sunita Williams back? That is not the case. What happened is, NASA has been subcontracting the launching mission to SpaceX, to Boeing Starliner. That one took the astronauts to the space station, and there are some technical difficulties arose when it actually went there, and we could not guarantee their safety. We could not take that risk. So the actually Starliner safely came back without the astronauts. And then we had to now talk to SpaceX and to bring them back. So they will be back on 19th of March, as of this is the plan, that we are going to bring them back on 19th of March. And I'm guaranteeing that they will be safely back home. But at the same time, this is an opportunity, because as you mentioned, if you want to go to Mars one day, it takes 7 months to go to Mars and 7 months to come back. So we need to experiment for long duration, how human body behaves, how mentally one can sustain for these long duration flights. So we are actually using this opportunity to do those experiments and learn more what happens when you stay there for too long.
So there'll be Wi-Fi, 7-month trip. Is there Wi-Fi?
There is no Wi-Fi.
That I think will be your biggest hurdle.
Yeah, I know.
As long as there is Instagram Reels, I think people will be fine to get there. Okay. What do you think of the work happening at ISRO? You know, I do understand that for ISRO, the 2025 budget is 1.95 billion, which is not bad. But NASA is 25 billion. ISRO has been in the news for doing some really good low-cost missions. What do you think ISRO is doing really well? And what do you think some of the areas where you think they can focus on and achieve more breakthroughs?
So first of all, ISRO is doing great. If you look at last few years, the number of missions, that successful mission that ISRO did, we are very proud of that. And we actually collaborate with ISRO and NASA. One of the mission that we are going to launch is actually end sometime this year, is called NISAR, NASA ISRO synthetic aperture radar mission that we are going to launch. And there's a very good collaboration between those two. And also, you mentioned that NASA's budget is about $23 billion, $22 billion, and the US GDP is about $23 trillion. So we spend less than 0.1% of US GDP on space exploration. And I showed you the kind of missions that we are doing, number of missions that we are doing. So that is a very small amount of money that we are spending. Same with ISRO. I think what we need to do more is explore more about scientific exploration. And ISRO started doing that. So, and it's very, if you have, any one of you have any kind of influence, please ask them to spend more money, ask the government of India to spend more money on space exploration, because it's so exciting for all of us.
Definitely, definitely, no. And it means a lot that you are appreciating ISRO sitting in NASA.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm sure it's going to be very encouraging for them. Let's talk some fun questions. It's also relevant because I genuinely am curious. Why is astrology more popular than astronomy? And just please make it clear to people that it is different. Because a lot of people think there is no difference.
You tell me, I don't know. Why
I don't know,
you
sound like a Gemini to me.
So, see, we believe in science, and astronomy is a science. So,
and astrology?
I will leave it up to you to define.
Okay. No, because you do not have like weekly or daily horoscopes. You have daily or weekly horoscopes in newspapers. But you don't have, long back we used to have, but now you don't have the night sky or what you can see tonight. But
that is the saddest part.
You will have a temperamental day and you may have a lucky fortune coming your way. Where is this coming from? And why is it so popular?
So I don't know. As a scientist, I actually try to look at the sky and try to see what is going on in the real sky. I don't know how that sky is going to impact me. Maybe we are thinking too much about ourselves.
Yeah. What is your zodiac sign, by the way?
I don't know.
These constellations, though, they have the zodiacs are rooted in real constellations, right?
That's correct.
Those constellations are real.
They're real, yes.
And somebody, I guess, I'm imagining long back, there was no computers, no Wi-Fi, no TV. People just hanging out at night and saying, oh, that looks like a bear to me. That looks like a Gemini or whatever to me. But those constellations are real.
Yes, they are.
And they're all part of our galaxy.
Yes, correct.
But the fact that if you're born under that constellation, it doesn't define your genetic code.
Yeah, as I said, I don't understand that.
All right. Connected to that is, right now we are having the Kumbh Mela. And people say that it is, something amazing is happening in the stars, and this is like once in 144 years. Okay, it happens every 12 years, but then 12 times 12, 144, it's like one of the rarest of the rare, which is meant that almost half of India's, or little less than half of India's population is gone there. There is also, I'm reading separately, there is something called a planetary parade, which is a real
event,
astronomical event.
That's correct.
In which all the planets are in line, and yet the Kumbh's ending is on that day, or around that period. So how is that linkage there?
I don't know how that link is there. What I can tell you from my side, that is true that once in a while, the sum of the planets, because the way we look at it, because this has to be in our line of sight, because if you look at it from another planet, it's not going to look the same. So if you look at from our planet Earth, if you look at that, so once in a while, some of these planets are aligned because they're going at certain speed and certain, at the orbit around the sun, and then they're aligned. So it's happening at this time. But how that is linked to other things, that part I don't know.
Okay. But there is definitely some amount of rootedness in these astrological...
not astrological, astronomical way, they're all connected with that too, because they are aligned, but not the astrological
Is
part.
it to do with the calendar? Because the calendar happens to...
it is nothing to do with calendar. Calendars, we define the calendar, right? Which kind of calendar you want to define is yours. But this is happening because of the way what is the mass of the sun is, what is the mass of different planets are, how far they are, what is the velocity of them, and then as they are going around, they will sometime they might align. So that's
And
what.
how rare is this?
It's actually rare. It does not happen very often because if you look at different speeds they go around, so it is very rare.
Like
indeed.
once in 100 years? Once in...
Yes, some events might happen in once in 76 years, 100 years, 144 years.
For those who don't know what a planetary parade is, can you just tell?
Sure.
And how can we see it?
Yes, actually, if you have a clear sky, in the dark sky, then if you look at the horizon, then you will see that quite a few of the planets like Mars, then Jupiter and Saturn, you can see them in the same line.
Wow.
At the lower in the horizon.
And that's happening right now, guys. So
That's
if
correct.
anybody is interested,
That's correct.
they can see it. And thank you so much for giving so much time to us and answering all kinds of questions.
Thank you.
May you progress in NASA and contribute, and you're obviously making India's name shine over there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And may the people become all astronomy becomes a hobby, you know. Like I said, $50 telescope on Amazon, and you can become an astronomer.
That's correct.
Yeah, and do check the sun signs tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chattopadhyay and Chetan, you know, for a fascinating presentation you made. And I think your energy and your enthusiasm when you talk about the work that NASA is doing is contagious. It's infectious for all of us. Thank you for being here. Can I please request Abhijit Kumar, General Manager, Adani Group, to join us on this stage and present a token to our esteemed speaker. Also requesting Suman Dey, Senior VP News and Programming, ABP Ananda, to join in the felicitation ceremony. बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद sir, एक बार फिर. And thank you Chetan for covering everything from astronomy to astrology in this fascinating session. Thank you. Friends, it's time to move forward with our next